What's going on, everybody? We are back on this podcast, 48 minutes, and we have a great show today. It's your boy Lito with my co-host Joseph. What's going on,
Hey,
Joe?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's that time again. We got a good show today.
Yes, we do. We're going to discuss the Sixers, your team, my team, the Phoenix Suns. We're going to discuss Kyrie, the indication what's going to happen in the playoff now with him at it. We're going to We're going to talk about fast break, give our questions, and we're going to do our own draft of the 75 players in the NBA, the top 75. So let's get this
That's gonna be
started.
good.
Let's get it started, man. Let's talk about the Sixers. I
My
want to
favorite
read
team.
a quote. I want to read a quote to you, and I want your feedback on what Ty Lue has said. I'm
Okay,
pretty sure you're
gotcha.
familiar with this. MB is the number one scoring in the lead because of free throws, and James Harden is number three in free throws as well. You take away their free throws, and neither guy will be top 10 scorer in the lead. Facts. I'm just gonna add facts, but your thoughts on Tyrone Lue throwing shades to the Sixers?
Well, first of all, I want to say that Ty Lue, he has a very difficult relationship with the Philadelphia 76ers franchise. So clearly he's still mad about that step over 21 years ago when the great Allen Iverson left him on his ass. So now he feels the need to take it out on our new star. So I understand where he's coming from there. You know, I mean, NBA players are haters. We all know that, right? Like they're always hating on each other. But
Yeah.
what I will say is that mathematically that makes no sense. Like, what is he saying? That we're only taking away Harden and Embiid's free throws, as if they're the only people who get free throws, and they're not going to be top 10? Well, of course they're not. Like, if we take away their free throws and everybody else in the top 10 gets to keep their free throws, then of course it's not going to be top 10. If we take away everybody's free throws, I don't believe that's true. So I don't understand what point he's trying to make there.
And well, well, we all know, we all criticize, or the media criticize James Harden with his points. How he gets his points is always on the free throw line. And when he joined you guys in the, well, actually in Brooklyn, I believe he wasn't averaging a lot of scoring points because of the new foul rules that the referees are not calling all the little chippy chops. But right now he's balling for y'all right now, and you guys look good. Maxi looks incredible. I know you were high on Maxi.
I've been
Um,
telling you since day one.
I now agree with you. He is good. To me, he's not better than Ben Simmons. But what you think about the team looks good, but I don't think Tobias Harris is fitting in right with the team. Do you notice that, or your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Tobias Harris with this team?
Oh no, like it definitely took Toby a little bit longer to get it together to figure out where his place is. I think his biggest thing is that he's not really a spot up shooter, but playing with guys the caliber of a James Harden and a Joel Embiid, you're going to get a lot of open shots at the 3 point line. Like that's you're going to get a ton of them. You're going to have to be able to knock them down. So I think he was resistant to that at first, but now he's pretty much figured it out, and he's actually been playing much better. If you look at it just as far as the scoring is concerned, obviously that's down because we have James Harden, so everybody expected that. Plus, Tyrese is doing his thing. But I think he's finally now starting to fit in the right place for himself.
So you think right now you have a winning streak of 3 right now. You're in second place. Do you think all the pieces, even though you can't make no moves, do you think all the pieces are right for the Sixers right now? You think you guys can compete to hopefully go to the Eastern Conference Finals at least?
We can. I mean, they still have other things to work out, as far as like their fit. It's only been a few weeks really that James Harden has actually been on the team. So they still have a lot they have to work out. But I mean, it's possible. The East is really close. There's not much difference between the top teams in the East, including the Brooklyn Nets, even though they're not a top team in the East, obviously. But there's not too much separation between us. So there's really no reason why the Sixers couldn't get on a roll, get it together, and win the East.
And it doesn't worry you. I think it was a week ago, right? You guys played the Brooklyn Nets.
Mm-hmm.
And that game, I don't care what people say, that game was big for both teams. I think it was more bigger for the Sixers, in my opinion. But it doesn't worry you how James Harden kind of freezes up when big games matter. It seems like throughout his career, we're talking about the playoff, how he freezes up when it's elimination game or to advance, he kind of freezes a little bit. And I feel like I saw the same pattern, even though it's a regular season game and it doesn't really mean something. He froze up when the game with the spotlight with the trade of Ben Simmons going to Brooklyn, and he didn't do anything in that game. He was kind of pathetic, in my opinion.
He didn't freeze up. The entire team wasn't ready for that game, which is really weird because, like, I mean, the entire city of Philadelphia was really trying to, was really hyped about that game. So the team not being ready for that game, it's not very encouraging. But at the same time, that was only like their fifth or sixth game together. So you can't really, at least on our end, you can't really take too much from that. Plus, obviously, Kevin Durant and Kyrie, they were trying to make a point for their boy on the bench who was sitting there with a little smirk on his face, still ain't played since last June, letting other people handle his work for him, So,
well, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That Kevin Durant and Kyrie brought that mentality, but then Embiid and Harden did not, and they should have.
Embiid did, and Harden was trying, but like the thing is that Harden was trying to go 1-on-1. That's what he was trying to do. He was trying to make his own point, going 1-on-1, but that wasn't going to work. Just the way our rosters are constructed. The way for us to be able to actually win in the playoffs is by playing team basketball. And he kind of forgot that game. But after that game, we've gotten back to that. Like before that Nets game, we were averaging about 125 points per game. We were sharing the ball. James Harden was being much more of a distributor than a scorer. And then on that game, he was just trying to go 1-on-1 ISO because he was trying to prove some point. And then after that game, we got back to what we were doing kind of before that game. So I think hopefully, if anything, that game taught him a lesson that, don't let your pride get in the way of winning. That's what happened.
So where do you see this team come playoff time? Like, we all know that the standings are not set for the East. And actually, I think for the West as well, they're not completely set, except if you're the Phoenix Suns. But we'll get there. We'll talk about that. But for the East, where do you see this team going? First round exit, second round exit, conference finals, maybe headlining the finals. Where do you see this team as a fan and seeing how they're progressing right now?
There's no way to tell. I mean, that's really the short answer to it. There's really no way to tell. It really depends. Like I said, the East is so close. If you look at the standings, the top 6 teams in the East, separated by what, a few games? Like, it's nothing. It's hard to really say who is legitimately the best team in the East. There's arguments to be made for Miami, for Milwaukee, for Philly, possibly even the Bulls. The Nets, people are saying now that they might have a shot. Who knows? I mean, anything's possible. So it's really hard for me to really say definitively. I see a path to us getting to the finals, but we have to play a certain way. And hopefully they're working their way up to playing that way, but I don't know. I mean, all I'm really doing is watching and hoping for the best. But also, too, this was a mid-season trade. And it's rare for a mid-season trade like this to end in a title. I'm trying to think of another time where it really did. Maybe with the Pistons back in 2004 when they traded for Rasheed, But usually this type of in-season trade doesn't pay off to the next season. So, I mean, fingers crossed, but we'll see. I don't know.
But that's interesting hearing that, because I remember when you guys got Jimmy Butler, fans thought this was the championship team right from the
get-go. That 100%.
So what's the difference?
No, that team, because that team, it was the difference is that we didn't have to give up depth to get Jimmy Butler, right? And even before this trade, the team wasn't particularly very deep. I mean, we have guys who come off the bench who can do a little something, and they have good nights, they have bad nights. But our bench before the trade was in the bottom third of the league. After the trade, it's like one of the worst, right? So, but the Jimmy Butler trade, we just had to give up Rocco, Robert Covington, and Dario Saric. That was it. And we got Jimmy Butler with all the other guys that we had on the team. We had JJ Redick, we had Toby, we had Joel Embiid, we had Ben Simmons, useless ass. We actually had a squad, So I mean, I think the disappointment there was that if we had gotten past the Raptors, that was a title team. 100%. I mean, the Bucks weren't ready at that point. That's who came next for the Raptors, and then the Warriors were decimated by injuries. That second round series in the East would actually determine who the champions would be. But this year it's not like that. For one thing, that there's a whole bunch of teams in the East, and obviously the West too, who can win a championship. It's wide open this year, right? And then, what's that? What do you mean?
I don't think it's wide open for the West, in my opinion. I know people want to believe that and
well, no,
think that, but in the East it's wide open.
I mean, the league in general. You know,
yeah.
Like it could be whoever comes out the East has a really good shot of winning the championship.
Yeah.
You know, I know how you feel about your Suns, but this year the West is the weaker conference, so you got to kind of take that into consideration. But
compared to previous years, yes, I think the West is weak. Yeah.
So I mean, it really depends. I can't. Even if you notice this, when we did the trade, I never said, "Oh, we're champions now." You never heard me say that. Like we're winning the title now. Like other Sixers fans have, but I never said that.
Yeah.
You know, it's because I know. Like I watch this team every night. Like I know. Like there's a good shot that we're not going to win this year, but there's also a shot that we will. It just depends on how they play and how they come together. And if not, Daryl Morey this summer, I'm sure, is going to take care of that bench. He's going to figure out how to put more pieces around these two to make it work. And I don't know if this is true. It's a rumor. I forget who said it. One of those old Warriors guys. But
yeah,
he said that Bradley Beal was very interested in playing in Philly this summer. So we'll see. I don't know. But, I mean, I haven't given up. We definitely have a shot. So we'll just have to see what happens.
How would that work, though, if that happens? You got to get rid of Tobias Harris if that happens. Yeah.
Probably a sign and trade. Probably send Toby down to DC. That's probably what would happen. Yeah.
You're max player, right? Ain't he the max player besides Embiid? He got a hefty contract.
It's not a max contract anymore.
Oh, okay.
But when he signed it, it was.
Yeah.
But now, you know, people are making crazy money. So it's not even that bad. But it's like, I think it's 180 million, something like that.
Now, I do have one more question concerning the Sixers that I think is, I don't know if no one is talking about this, but I think, I could be wrong, I think Embiid cares more about winning MVP than winning a championship this year.
Oh, no, you're absolutely wrong about that. Absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that he wants more to win a championship. Of course, MVP would be nice. Of course, everybody wants those individual awards. But the reason why, I can't even say that he's playing that much better this year. I mean, he's definitely improved. He's improved on passing out the double team. He's like, his mid-range game, it's crispy right now. Like, there's nobody right now other than maybe like a KD that has a better mid-range game than Joel Embiid. His 3-point percentage is actually higher than Joker's. You know, like he's become a better passer. He's actually improved. He hasn't done this to win MVP. He's done this to win a championship. And with the whole Ben Simmons saga, he saw it from day one that he's got to take control of the situation. So it's kind of a situation where he has no choice but to put up big numbers. But it ain't new for him. He had a season a few years ago, which I told you should have been an MVP season. 27 points, 13 and a half rebounds, 4 assists a game. The Sixers finished in first place. He didn't get one vote. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't even believe he's going to win MVP. For some reason, the voters for MVP, they just don't want to vote for him, even though he's definitely been in a position where he should have at least gotten consideration. But, I mean, it's good that he's getting the play now. Well, we'll see what happens. I hope he does win it, but we all want the Finals MVP. That's what we want for Joel Embiid. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how that
Yeah. Let's see if it happens.
But hey, it's time though. It's time to talk about your Phoenix Suns, the time you've been waiting for, right?
Bro.
Chris Paul is back. So, you know, you guys have a pretty good shot there. You know, lately I've been hearing a lot of a buzz about people wanting Devin Booker as the MVP of the league. What do you think about that?
Why not?
He has an actual shot?
Why not?
Oh, so Russ is the MVP? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
no, not Russ. But why not? Why can't he? Why can't he? Because I think he went when Chris Paul went out. He balled out. The team only lost 2 games without him. Mind you, people are not talking about Cam Johnson was out too. Cameron Payne was out. A hefty of our roster was out. DeAndre Ayton was out a couple of games too. And Devin Booker has been taking over. I think he only lost 2 games during that stretch when Chris Paul was out, maybe 3. But they have been great. Chris Paul came back. I think it was 2 nights ago or last night, and they beat the Denver Nuggets. And Devin Booker had 49 points and 10 assists. So like Devin Booker's game has been, like you said with Embiid, Devin Booker's game has developed even more now. Like he can assist double digits if he wants to, and he can score at will like always throughout his career. You remember the 71 points against Celtics? They still lost. He lost, but he can score at will, and that is, I don't know. I feel like that alone right there, losing Chris Paul and still holding down the first seed and only team with 60 wins this season, I should give him an MVP edge or not, at least. You don't agree with that?
No, I don't, because I know you don't want to hear this, but the difference on your team is Chris Paul. Like, if anybody's going to win MVP, it really, from your team, it really should be him. No, I get where you're coming from, but also too, like, all these other teams that you're going against, they've had a lot of injury issues. They've had COVID issues. The Suns have been relatively healthy this season. Yeah, you missed the month of Chris Paul, sure. Look at the Brooklyn Nets. You know, Kyrie Irving doesn't want to come to work. You know, Ben Simmons, like Ben Simmons, right? And then you got KD who was out for like 2 months. You got the Nuggets who are going through crazy issues. The Sixers. You got the Mavericks who traded KP away, and they're still balling somehow. You got the Warriors. Like, a lot of these teams have gone through a lot more than the Suns have. So, like, they've been together, and then people are saying that, you know, Chris Paul's the guy. That's why Devin Booker isn't going to be MVP.
So it's Devin Booker's fault that the team has been constructed well and been together for a long. All they did was added Bismack, Biyombo, McGee, and Drew Holiday. I don't know his name. Drew Holiday's brother. My God, he is a good pickup. I like him. I got to remember his name.
I told you about him. That's Justin, right?
But yeah, I think it's Justin. He is good. He's solid. I don't want him to be a backup, you know, for Chris Paul. It should be Cameron Payne. But when Chris Paul went out for that month stretch, man, he is a solid player. Like that family, the brothers are all good. The Holiday brothers, they're all decent. They all contribute well. Yeah.
I told you that. I think on our last podcast.
He's really good. But I don't want to give all the shout out to just Devin Booker and now Justin Holiday and Ayton. My goodness, Ayton. Pay that man. But I want to give
I'm gonna tell you again. You pay that man, your team's chances to win championships is over.
I want to give shout out to quietly my favorite player. You know, Devin Booker, he's my favorite, but this guy has been being the best player in this team. Like, I appreciate what he does to this team. And I want to give shout out to 76ers for giving us this blessing. Mikal Bridges. This kid, I'm telling you, I watch every Suns game, majority 75% of Suns game. And this kid is impressive. He's good. He's currently on the winning of a game playing streak of 280 games. So me bringing this up is this kid is valuable to a team. Like, he's always healthy. He plays both ends on the floor. He hustle. He's contributing points now more frequently. Like, I love Mikal Bridges.
I watched his entire Nova career because, you know, Villanova, that's kind of like my college squad. So I watched his whole college career. The only person in this country or anybody who actually seen him play who didn't think that he was going to be this good was Brett Brown, the person who made that stupid trade. But as I keep telling you, because you bring this up every single podcast, as I keep telling you, it's fine because I have Tyrese Maxey. I've got Matisse Thybulle. So, yeah, I mean, Brett Brown, he definitely did screw up. And our ownership screwed up making Brett Brown the GM that particular summer, which I complained about endlessly before the draft that year and before it even happened. That was just stupid. But I mean, it worked out for everybody. I think it worked out for both teams.
And I just want to, I don't know if I said this on the podcast. I know I said it on text with you and our other friends on the text. I feel like he is going to be the next Kawhi. I really believe this dude is going to take over the lead in a couple more years. I'm not going to say he's going to be the guy for the Phoenix Suns because it's always going to be Devin Booker, but he is going to have a shot to be that number 2 option. I still want them to pay Ayton because he is very valuable to this team. But I feel like eventually, Mikal Bridges is going to take that number 2 spot. Like right now, it's Chris Paul and Ayton share, in my opinion. They both hold that spot. But I feel like later on, Mikal is going to be the bona fide 2-star in that team.
Well,
like he's good.
The next face of the league will be Tyrese Maxey. So they'll have to fight him out for that. Tyrese is the guy. But my actual last question to you, though, as far as the Suns are concerned, though, we both agree that the Western Conference is weak this year. And that's a conference that the Suns have had to kind of roll through. Do you think that's going to be a problem when we get to the playoffs, that they haven't really been challenged by their Western teams so far? And now, all these other teams in the West are getting healthy. And I think the Grizz are a problem, too. So do you foresee there being any sort of problem like that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. You're right. This Western Conference is not that strong, especially when you have players that are injured. Denver Nuggets will be higher in the standing if Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. were involved in the season all year, and they haven't. And that's the team that always gonna haunt me. Denver Nuggets. I know we beat them last year. There's rumors that Jamal Murray is coming back. That's going to be scary alone if he comes back. They have this kid that they drafted. I forgot. I think he's from Delaware or played in Delaware. What is his name? But in Denver Nuggets. But anyway, he is really good. Can you imagine him added with Murray now? Like they have scores at will. And if Michael Porter Jr. does come back, it'll be interesting. But the only team that scares me is Denver. Grizzlies, they don't scare me at all. I don't buy the hype. But I think Suns are going to cruise. I feel like maybe Warriors could be a little challenging, maybe. But I think Suns got this in the bag. And by the way, you asked me, I know we got to move on. You asked me if Devin Booker is worthy to be MVP. I say yes. But more importantly, if Monty Williams doesn't get Coach of the Year, I'm done with the NBA. All right, I'm done. Because he deserves it.
No. The Coach of the Year should be whoever coaches the Grizzlies, whose name I can never remember.
What?
I think the Grizz coaches should be the Coach of the Year. That's who I've got personally.
60 wins don't matter, and
of course it matters, but it also matters. It also matters to the people that you have on that team.
Yeah, so, but you lost Chris Paul for like almost 2 months, like a month and a half, and you still hold down the fort.
We've already been through there. I think that Monty, as good as a coach as he is, he's got a better situation than nobody would have imagined the Grizz finishing in second place. Nobody would have imagined that.
Yeah, but you can't. Come on, let's move on. But Monty, you're my coach of the year. All right. Now let's talk about the recent breaking news. Kyrie Irving can play home games in Brooklyn. Your thoughts on your favorite basketball player, Kyrie Irving, being allowed to play home games right now, and how that can affect the Eastern standing or the playoff in general can change now?
Well, I just saw that that we're just talking about Ja and the Grizz, right? So Ja's been out for the past few weeks or the past few days at least, and the Nets came in and lost. So KD and Kyrie just lost to the Grizz without them. They play absolutely no defense whatsoever, like no defense at all. Plus, there's the fact that they're in the play-in tournament, and if they have to play with Toronto, like play in Toronto, if that were to happen, Kyrie can't play because he's not vaccinated. Can't go to Canada. So I mean, there's a whole lot that's kind of going on there. But no, I don't believe that just because Kyrie is back, that automatically makes them contenders. I don't necessarily believe that.
You really think that Kyrie cannot change the momentum of how the playoff picture looks now? by him playing home games. That's like now with Kyrie added, like let's say you guys face, let's say Brooklyn and Sixers play each other, or Milwaukee and Brooklyn. Milwaukee or Sixers now should be a little bit worried now that you're not going to have Kyrie 50%. You're going to have him at full percent. He's able to travel to Philadelphia or to Milwaukee. That doesn't worry you as a Sixers fan that he can play the whole series now?
No, it doesn't. Not at all. I've seen this story before. Like, I understand that Kyrie made the shot of shots in the finals to come back 3-1 against the Warriors. He had a great series, obviously. He's been great. Ever since then, though, he hasn't been. I mean, he's definitely had flashes of greatness, but you can't count on him. There's never been a point in time since that shot in Cleveland where you've been able to count on Kyrie Irving. So this is going to have to show us. I know people are always hyping him up, like, oh, Kyrie, he's the next coming of this one or that one. Oh, Kyrie's the most skilled person in the history of the NBA. Kyrie this, Kyrie that. Uncle Drew this, Uncle Drew that. He hasn't shown anything since that shot in Cleveland. Like, not for real. Only thing that he's shown is the ability to miss work for a variety of reasons. Like, he'll just come up with any excuse not to go to work. Like, that's what he's shown since then. And until we see something else, then I can't believe that. I just can't sit here and say that, yeah, all of a sudden now that Kyrie's playing, they're automatically going to be some sort of contenders. We'll have to wait and see.
You know, also Kyrie showed that he stands for what he stands for and doesn't be a sheep. Yeah, I mean, that's his will, though. We gotta respect that. We gotta respect that. We gotta respect it. Even though I don't agree. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. But we gotta respect it. He stood his ground.
I respect it at all. Not just the whole vaccination thing, because that's your choice. You're going to get vaccinated or not.
Exactly.
But he completely screwed over his entire team just to make a pointless point. Like, what point are you making? What difference has this made to anybody except for the Brooklyn Nets and their standing? Like, what point has this made? Like, you're playing
bigger than that. It's bigger than that.
You're playing an organized team sport that you're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to play. You know, as an athlete, you put so much shit into your body. So much shit. Like, if you're hurting, you're going to get some kind of injection, right? When you're in school, you have to get vaccinated just to go to school. There are so many things in this world that you have to do in order to get vaccinated. And this is where you're drawing the line. I understand why this is where you draw the line. It makes no sense.
But this is what we know from Kyrie. When he has something that he feels strongly about, he stands for it. Like, remember when the the bubble? He didn't went to the bubble either. He didn't want players to play. Actually, he couldn't go. He couldn't go to the bubble, right?
He was
injured. But he was telling players, I don't know if he would have said the same thing if he was healthy and if he was able to play. But he didn't want players to continue playing. So
yeah, okay. That's a whole different topic. We'll have to get into that some other time. Because I definitely have opinions about that too. Because you know who said he was wrong about that besides me? Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the one that convinced them to do all of that activism they did inside the bubble and not to just, fold up and go home. If Kyrie was there, that's what he would have been saying. But it makes no sense. One thing that Kyrie does not understand is that people don't care about him or his opinions because he's Kyrie Irving. People care about him and his opinions because he plays basketball. And he wants to do everything he possibly can except play basketball and just give us his opinions. But you know what? Nobody cares if you're not playing. Like, that's what he doesn't understand. He thinks that just him being him is the reason why anybody cares about him. And that's ego. That's all that is.
Well, just to wrap up the Kyrie, the reason why I think this could change the momentum, you said they're in a spot competing for the play-in tournament. They will face the Toronto Raptors. That's true. But mind you, they're only 3 games back of that 5th spot with the Cavaliers. So adding now Kyrie to home games could change the momentum of their standing, which is impressive of standing when they face whoever they face in the first round.
Yeah, but at the same time, they just lost to the Grizz without Ja, right? Like they're still having rough losses. It can't happen now. Kyrie missed the entire season. Now that he's back, that can't happen. We're at the point of the year where you can't lose games like that if you're trying to move out of the play-in tournament. So the fact they lost that game is a problem.
Yeah, I agree. It was a bad loss.
It's a terrible loss.
Let's talk about fast break, bruh.
All right, let's move on to our fast break topic where we have rapid fire questions and answers that we actually question each other. So, Lito, I will go first. Are the Mavs better without Kristaps Porzingis? And just a little background here: the Mavs have actually had the best record since January 1st.
Yeah, they are. They are. Don't know. I don't understand why Luca and Porzingis did not work. Do not get that at all. Maybe two alphas can't compare, play together and with Luca. I don't know, but it does not work, and they're better now. Speaking of John Morant, reports are he's out. He's going to be out for 2 weeks. Do you think that's going to affect their standing in the playoff? They're currently they're in second right now.
Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on this, but last I heard, the Grizzlies are 16-2 without John Morant, which is another reason why I believe their coach, whose name, forgive me, I can never remember, should be coach of the year. They're 16-2 without him. They keep winning. We just said it. They just beat the Brooklyn Nets without John Morant. I think that will have they'll have no issue. They'll finish either second or third, even without him. But now that they are healthy, will the Warriors be a legitimate title threat?
No, they do not worry me at all. I don't understand. And I can ask you this question. James Wiseman will be missing the remainder of the season. He's not coming back for them. Do you think that's going to hurt them in the playoff, not having James Wiseman?
They've never had James Wiseman. There's no reason why that would hurt them. The kid's been, as much as I actually thought he had a really good start to his career, he's been injured pretty much his entire career. That'll have absolutely no bearing on them whatsoever. But the Atlanta Hawks, though, they'll also be in the play-in tournament most likely. Do you think, and this is your guy, Trae Young, do you think that the Hawks actually have a shot to win this tournament?
Yeah, I think they will. I think the Hawks are going to impress everybody again and shock the world. I have them competing in the second round at least and see what happens with them. But speaking of Trae Young, Joe, put your draft hat on right now. Who would you draft, Trae or Luka, at this point?
I would draft John Morant. Because we've had this conversation before. I told you, I think John's better than both of them. Honestly, I think that his ceiling is higher than both of them. But if you're asking between those two, I would have to go Luka, and it's just barely. And the funny thing is, I actually like Trae better than Luka. I really do. I always have. But just looking at their careers and what Luka is doing over there without a second star, yeah, compared to what Trae is doing without a second star, I definitely have to go with Luka.
But Trae has done more. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They've done more.
Because of Ben Simmons. That's neither here nor there. It's a fast break, sir.
Okay.
Will Zion demand a trade?
Yeah, I think we talked about this in the last podcast. I think he's sitting out on purpose. I think he just doesn't want to play for the Pelicans, which is sad. It's sad, especially for CJ McCollum being there now.
CJ, he's nice.
Oh, CJ, Dame. Shout out to Dame Lillard, man. But I have a question for you on a serious note. Phoenix Suns Bismack Biyombo is donating all his salary for this year to the hospital in Congo. Do you think more players should take actions like this? I know a lot of players in the NBA are very charitable, but do you think players should take the extra mile in their career and give back to the community like Biyombo just did?
Well, one thing I want to mention about that is that the African players do this all the time. I believe Hakeem has done this. I think Dikembe has done this. I'm sure Joel is probably considerate, but he does a lot too for his community. It's a big thing for the African players, and I love seeing that because we all know the issues that are on the African continent, that they need as much help as they possibly can from people who actually, are from there. So I appreciate that. As far as whether or not I think that other players should do it, I'm not going to tell anybody what to do with their money. They do what they do. I respect it, but it's their money. What you going to do?
Facts. That's facts too.
But yeah, so LeBron James, he keeps scoring 30 and 40 points and losing. Do you think that this whole thing is about stat padding so that he can get to Kareem's record.
Yeah. And he wants to be the scoring leader, I think, this season. I think he has that chip on his shoulder that if he can't win the Larry O'Brien's trophy, damn it, let me get the scoring title. And I think that's what he's trying to do. But speaking of LeBron, we all know he passed Karl Malone. He's only, I think, 2,000 shy of 2,400 shy from, that's a lot, by the way, from passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to become the greatest all-time scorer in league history. Do you think LeBron will eventually do it if he keeps it at this rate?
I don't think that LeBron James is going to actually retire from the NBA until he does. Like he might be on one leg, he might have like vertebrae missing, but he is not going to retire from the NBA until he breaks that record. And I think for him, if he really wants to go down as the GOAT, the greatest of all time, I think he has to. I think that's like his only real shot at doing that.
Wow, but you heard it here first. LeBron passes, he's the GOAT. My goodness.
No, hey, that's not what I said.
You said it.
No. What I said was that he'll have a shot at being the GOAT. Probably not in my mind. But it's a legitimate argument. Like right now, I don't think it's a legitimate argument. But I think if he passes Kareem, it will be a legitimate argument. I can't really argue with people who would say he's the GOAT. At that point, I feel like him and MJ would be tied if he actually passes. I think he knows that. That's the reason why he's doing it. But we were talking about Bradley Beal a little bit earlier. Will he actually demand a trade this summer, you think?
Man, this Bradley Beal saga with trades and all that has been going on, I feel like for 3 years now. Is he leaving Washington? I don't know. I feel like he should leave Washington. So we'll see what happens with that franchise. But yeah, I would say, yeah, he should. Yeah.
Well then, so that was another fun, fast break. I love doing that particular segment. But now, sir, it is time for us to do our NBA 75 draft. And just so everybody knows, we actually did the draft offline because, it would have taken a whole bunch of time to actually do that. But the way we did it was we did a first team, a second team, and a third team. And we actually did a draft to where we can't have the same players on each team. So for the first team, what we did was to determine who's actually going to pick first, we actually flipped the coin. For the first team, I got first pick. And Lito, do you want to tell the people who I chose as my first pick?
Well, he chose the GOAT, LeBron James. It's like, nah. It was Michael Jordan.
Of course it was Michael Jordan. It is always Michael Jordan. Yeah. It didn't even matter because I knew you weren't going to pick him. So I didn't feel like...
I know.
Even if you had gotten it, I already knew I was getting MJ.
Yeah.
That was definitely going to be my first pick.
And I chose my GOAT. Can I reveal my GOAT? My first pick?
Go right ahead. What's your first pick?
It was Kobe Bryant.
That's right. That's right. I think our teams, like our first teams are matched up pretty well. So who did you pick on your first team?
So my first pick was Kobe Bryant. I think my second pick was Kevin Durant. Then my third pick was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You were hot about that one. And then I picked Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash. So Steve Nash and Kobe, Dirk and Kevin and Kareem.
And yeah, just a reminder, the way we did this was that we had to pick 2 guards, 2 forwards, and 1 center on each one of our teams. We wanted to make sure we actually had balanced teams. If not, it would look a lot different. But I think your team is great. I really do. Like, I wanted KD. Like, KD was actually going to be my second pick. And I wanted Kareem because Kareem is the man. I love Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He's like one of the greatest winners in North American sports. But your team is solid, though. Your team is solid.
I like that. I like that team. Yeah. I like both of them. But your team is solid, too. Tell the people who you pick. Yeah.
So I've got MJ, of course, and I've got Magic. That was my second pick. And then Tim Duncan was my third pick. And then surprisingly, this guy was just sitting out there. I'm like, how can I not pick him? I got LeBron James. And then for my center, I picked David Robinson.
Solid, yeah. I think
that's pretty good. Like your team, though. No, go ahead. What was you gonna say? No.
I was gonna say to defend LeBron a little bit. That was gonna be my second pick. It was gonna be either LeBron or Kevin Durant. But as you see the picture over here, I'm a Kevin Durant fan, so I have to go with Kevin Durant. So that's my guy. So I went with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but like me, like LeBron, I was surprised that they able to get him on this team. I was like, he's going to pick LeBron. He's got to pick LeBron.
Yeah,
And when he didn't pick him, I was like, all right, I'll take LeBron. Why
yeah.
not? I probably should have picked him third. Now I'm thinking about it, but I really wanted to make sure I got Tim Duncan because I personally believe that Tim Duncan is highly underrated, and he's top 10 easily, approaching top 5 in the history of this league. I think he's great. But we
That
also
that was the pick. Sorry to interrupt. That was the pick that kind of frustrated me when you pick from the first team when you pick Tim Duncan because I wanted him. I got every player I wanted on the first team except Tim Duncan, and then I replaced him with Dirk. I think that's a good combination. Dirk, I got shooters.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Yeah, so I think that my team is really good defensively. And I think your team has all the shooters. It has like some of the best shooters in the history of the league. So I think that we both did pretty well there. But like if we actually running it though, like who's winning? Like if we actually running this, we actually going. We at Rucker Park, the real mecca of basketball, not Madison Square Garden. But we at the Rucker. Who's winning this?
Well, the people that are watching this, if they are watching this long, I want them to comment which team is better, Joe's or mine. On for the first team. I feel like to answer your question, I feel like my team will kick your ass. I feel like the center position, Kareem will abuse David Robinson, even though David Robinson is a good defender. I feel like great defender. I feel like Kevin Durant and LeBron can have one of those games. Either Kevin Durant is good or LeBron is good. That's even Stevens right there, in my opinion. And then Dirk and Tim, the same thing. I feel like the abuse that you can give me is Magic Johnson on Steve Nash. I feel like Magic can like post him up if he wants to do the little sky hook or do something crazy and can abuse no defense Steve Nash. But I had to pick Nash. I had to. And then Michael Jordan and Kobe. My goodness, that would be good.
Don't say they cancel each other out because Kobe is the Wish version of Michael Jordan. Like, what are you talking about? They don't cancel each other out.
You don't think they cancel each other out?
Michael Jordan is better than Kobe Bryant. He's better.
Okay. Okay, I'll take your word.
No, actually, I think my team has a really good shot here. I think my team is going to win because my team is really good defensively. Like, look at it. MJ and Magic, like, they're two of the best perimeter defenders this league's ever seen. Tim Duncan, come on. I just got to tell you about his defensive credit. And then David Robinson is one of the best defensive centers ever, too. I mean, LeBron has been iffy throughout his career, but, I mean, he's LeBron. You know, we got the size, we got the speed, we have athleticism. We don't have much shooting other than, like, MJ and LeBron and Timmy a little bit. So I think that's going to be our Achilles heel. But as far as, like, just guarding y'all and running and just yamming on everybody, I think we got that.
Now, to wrap up who will win this, let me just remind you, Kevin Durant beat LeBron James twice. I know he's with the Warriors, but it did happen. And Dirk Nowitzki, when he was Dirk, when they won the championship, I think they beat the San Antonio Spurs too. I think. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but I think they did. I know they beat the Lakers.
Not that year, no.
The championship run. Didn't they beat Oh, okay. But they would have. But yeah. It's a good matchup. You know, that's why there are 75 best players in the league. So
you talk about LeBron. And LeBron actually beat KD too in the finals. So it's kind of like a 2-1 thing there. Yeah, and like when LeBron was going up against the Warriors, he was going against them by himself. Like there was nobody else with him, right?
True.
Everybody was hurt.
True.
So you can't really go by that. But we also did coaches too. So who is your coach on your first team?
I picked the if my brother listens to this podcast, he's gonna get hype. I picked the longest winning streak coach right now, currently, Greg Popovich. I had to, and I wanted to steal him away from you just in case, because you had David Robinson and Tim.
I never planned to pick Pop.
No,
I never planned to. I got Pat Riley. I believe that for me personally, I know that most people are going with like Red Auerbach or Phil Jackson. But I personally believe that Phil Jackson is the best coach that has ever coached NBA basketball. I do. Yeah. But so second team, who's your second team?
My second team, I actually don't remember who was my first pick. I think it was Giannis, if I'm not mistaken.
It was Giannis, yeah,
I picked Giannis. I think second pick was Russell Westbrook. I stole Steph Curry away from you, which shocked the hell out of me. I got Larry Legend, Larry Bird, and Shaquille O'Neal. Not a bad team either. That one is not bad. Who you
And
got
who's your
though?
coach for him?
Oh, my coach is Jerry Sloan. Pick and roll, Seth Curry with Giannis or Larry Bird or even Shaq. That is incredible.
I like Jerry Sloan.
Yeah,
Never won a championship stuff. I like Jerry Sloan.
yeah.
All
What about
right, so
yours? This is decent.
my second team, I decided to do the all Philly team because people are always talking about how great, like how many great Sixers or Lakers on the
Oh
top
wow.
75 team, but there's actually more Sixers on the top 75 team than Lakers. So my second team, all Sixers, AI, Hal Greer, Dr. J, Charles Barkley, and Wilt Chamberlain. And I'm mad. I messed this up, right? I should have, instead of picking David Robinson on my first team, I should have picked Moses Malone. Or I should have picked Wilt on my first team and then put Moses on my second team. When we were done this draft, I was mad at myself. I was like, yo, how is Moses not on this team? But I couldn't pick two centers, so I couldn't have them on the same team. I just messed that whole thing up.
Yeah. Moses Malone won a championship, right? With y'all too,
Oh,
or
he
took
sure
y'all to the
did.
final.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. Fo. That's what
So,
my March Madness bracket is named. Fo.
so I feel like this. I feel like our first team matchup is more. It could be either way. It could go either way. But I feel like this one, I am giving you a whooping of whoopings. I feel like, in my opinion, people can comment if they want and give your opinion. But I feel like, first of all, Steph Curry. You always say he's the greatest shooter of all time, right?
It's not
Allen
just me who
Iverson.
says that. Like everybody says that except you.
People say that, yeah. I feel like Steph Curry will be cooking the hell out of Allen Iverson. Russell Westbrook will defend himself with what's his name? Hal Greer. I
His
don't
name
know
is
his name.
Hal Greer. 1967, one of the greatest teams in the history of the NBA, won a championship with the Philadelphia 76ers, and his boy, who's also on my team, Wilt Chamberlain.
Now, and this team facing one another, I feel like the matchup is the forwards and the centers. Like Giannis going against Charles Barkley, my goodness, that is blockbuster TV right there. I feel like that will be good. Dr. J versus Larry Bird, that will be hella entertaining as well. And the center position, Bill Russell. I'm sorry, Shaq going against Wilt Chamberlain will be very, very good too. But
Well,
I don't know. I gotta go with my team.
I'll tell you, we're not putting Chuck on Giannis. We're not dumb.
No,
He ain't doing that. Hell no. He likes this sport. We are not putting Chuck on Giannis. It would have to be Dr. J, but Giannis would kill him too. But you know what though? Dr. J, 30,000 career points between the ABA and the NBA. That man can score. He does more than just dunk. So don't act like he's not going to be able to get it done against Giannis, because he definitely would be able to. But there's no defending Giannis. There's no defending him.
Is it fair to say that Shaq will abuse Wilt or nah?
No, that's not fair at all.
Not fair to
Absolutely
say?
not. Like Shaq, and by the way, just to let you know, guys, we're in overtime. But
oh shit!
The second time we're in overtime. But not like Shaq always calls himself the most dominant player to ever play the game, but he's never seen Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain was more than just a guy, in the 1960s. He was an actual athlete. He was, I think he was like a state long jump champion. He's like a Hall of Fame volleyball player. Like the dude, if you watch his old films, his old games, that dude is dominant, and there's no reason why. He's probably one of the few people in the history of the league who I think would be able to do a good job guarding Shaq. And Shaq wasn't known for his defense, so I don't know how well he do against Wilt.
So who do you think will win this game, like this series, if it was a second team playing each other?
I mean, I'm going with my Sixers. Like, who think I'm going to say? You better ask the people. You ask the wrong guy.
Now, let's listen. Third team is very good too. It really is. I mean, all of them are good. There are 75 best of the best. But
I didn't give you my coach though. My coach for the All Sixers team is the great Larry Brown.
My goodness. Philadelphia.
Billy Cunningham wasn't an option. If Billy Cunningham was an option, I might have picked him. because he actually played for the team and he coached the team. Like he played for the team on the '67 championship team, and then he coached the '83 championship team. So if Billy Cunningham, which he is a top 75 player, but if he had been on the coaches list, I'd have picked him instead of Larry Brown.
Now let's go third team. You want to reveal yours first?
Sure. So for the third team, I've got my boy, your boy, our boy, Mr. Christopher Paul, CP3. And then I've got Reggie Miller, my boy. I love Reggie Miller as my shooting guard. Then I've got KG, Kevin Garnett, Kevin McHale, probably the second best power forward to ever play the game. And for my center, I've got Hakeem, the Dream, Olajuwon. And I should have put Moses there, but I didn't. I'm sorry, Moses. Rest in peace. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I feel bad.
I mean, Hakeem is better, right? Or no?
Than Moses?
Yeah.
Than Moses?
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but you're also not right. Like I can't necessarily say definitively better. I mean, Moses Malone had a stretch in the late '70s through like the mid '80s where he was practically MVP every year, rebounding champion. Like he's the reason why we got over the hump. He took Houston. Like he's a great player. He's a great player.
Well, can you review? Well, we'll reveal your last pick soon because I thought it was funny. But my third team, my first pick of this third team was actually Isaiah Thomas, which shocked the hell out of you, by the way. And then I
knew about Zeke.
Yeah. And then I got Dwayne Wade. And then I picked, which is crazy that you didn't pick him. I picked Kawhi Leonard. I thought you were going to pick him.
Why would I pick Kawhi? Why would I pick Kawhi?
You know what? I'll take that back. You're right.
You know what he did to me. You know what he did to me.
You're right. I got Kawhi. Paul Pierce, the truth, made it. That's my last pick. He was my last pick. And then my center is Bill Russell. How many championships?
11.
How many championships? No.
11.
How many?
He's got more rings than fingers.
How many championships are in my squad in this third team? If you really look, Isaiah, Wade, Kawhi, Paul Pierce, Bill Russell. That's a lot of championship in this team. I just realized that now.
It's sure is. But most of those belong to Bill Russell. Come on now. If you guys take Bill Russell, it wouldn't look like that.
You know what's crazy? All of those players I just named can't combine with the rings that Bill Russell has.
Nah, probably all the players on the damn list can't combine.
That's crazy.
That's like a Shaq and a Kobe. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, so my coach for the team is Phil Jackson. So, you know, I think that like for me, Phil is my guy. You know, I like Phil Jackson. I think that for this particular team, with all these difficult personalities, especially KG and Chris Paul, he'll be the one to kind of bring them together. So I think Phil Jackson works for that. Who's your coach?
Mine is all about championship. Don Nelson.
Don Nelson has never won a championship.
I know.
But it's okay though. You got Bill Russell. You got Bill Russell.
Yeah, I picked them because I want them to. I feel like this team is a small ball team compared to yours, so I want them to run and gun. So that's why I picked Don Nelson. But
and you were mad about picking Paul Pierce too. Like you were trying so hard because that was your last pick, and you're trying so hard to pick somebody. And like your thing was that you're looking for somebody for rebounding. I didn't want to help you, but if I was you, I would have picked Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. But then it's too much defense. I mean, defense wins championship. There's nothing wrong with too much defense. But I feel like Paul Pierce can give me a little bit of defense, but more scoring, and Kawhi can focus on. I don't know.
You forgot about Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen can do it all. Scottie Pippen's a Swiss Army knife. Plus, you've got IT, Wade, and Kawhi for the scoring.
Hold on. Are you telling me that Scottie is a better scorer than Paul Pierce?
No, but he's a much better all-around player, and you can get 20 points. You can get 20 points from Scottie Pippen. That's no problem. You know, plus you got the defense and the rebounding. With Paul Pierce, all you have is scoring.
So, give your mention on who you feel bad that you didn't pick. You already discussed Moses Malone. Is there anyone that stands out that you're like, damn, I should have picked him, or I feel bad I didn't pick them?
Well, you know what? You know who else too? Clyde Drexler. I love Clyde Drexler. Like that whole Portland thing is not just about them ending your former franchise, the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's not just about Dame time. I've actually been a Portland fan since the early '90s. Like I used to love them back in the day with Clyde Drexler and Terry Porter and those guys. They were actually a team that I followed, and I was actually hoping that they would beat both the Pistons and the Bulls when they played them, but they never did. So yeah, Clyde Drexler was somebody I really debated, but I settled on Reggie Miller because that's my guy.
I gotta go with one, and till this day, right now, till it's gonna haunt me. I didn't pick him. All right, when this podcast it lives on YouTube for a while, and I look back, I'm like, damn, I didn't pick him, and it's Jason Kidd. Like that one, that one hurts. So yeah.
And you know what's funny about that too? I would have picked Jason Kidd too. I was thinking about him too, but he was like third behind Miller and Drexler for me. But I was thinking about either Chris Paul or Jason Kidd because I love Jason Kidd. But
great point guards, both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's no wrong answers here. That's the thing about the top 75. Like, there are no wrong answers. There's the only right answers.
Yeah.
Yep. But Lito, we have come to the end, double overtime, of another great episode of 48 Minutes Podcast. And people, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as usual, signing off, this is Joe.
And this is Lito.
Y'all have a great night.
Bye-bye.